Hi, Koyé. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. And how are you this beautiful evening?
I'm good. Happy work is over.
I know. A pretty long day, right?
Yeah, long day, especially working from home.
Yes, where you don't
Yeah.
have a closing time, but you have a
Yes.
resumption time.
Yeah.
I know. Um,
So, thank you for thank you for taking this precious time that we have, a limited amount of time that we have
Thanks
after
for
work.
having me. Thank you for having me.
So I guess we can start by just if you can give us a brief bio, just
Oh,
about
sure.
yourself, a bit about yourself.
Okay. In a nutshell, I landed in Canada in 2019,
Mhm.
and I went straight to Saskatchewan, which I think is very rude in the
Mm,
sense that the weather is very rude.
mhm.
Winter in Saskatchewan is disrespectful, is discourteous, has no respect for anyone. And that for me was a culture shock, was the first culture shock
Yeah.
I actually experienced coming from Nigeria,
Yeah.
which is usually temperate because we have probably summer throughout the year, 35 degrees, 34 degrees. I'm inland in another country and experiencing minus 35, minus 38 degrees. So that was the first culture shock for me in landing in Canada.
Did you have an option to go wherever, or was that
Yes,
like
yes, I did. I actually
you
had an
did?
option to go wherever. My choice to land in Canada was based on I have a couple of friends there, and I
Mm,
think it would be some form of soft landing, which in retrospect was not a bad idea. It had its benefits and also its disadvantages, but notwithstanding, I'm here today. Yeah. So before coming to Canada, I practiced law in Nigeria for about 5 years. I was called to the Nigerian bar in 2013. Landed in Canada 2019. Yeah, and it's been beautiful since then.
mm. So was it your intention to practice law in Canada once you arrived here?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
What actually happened was before I left Nigeria, I made sure I kickstarted the process. So my transcripts were sent to the NCA, that's National Committee on Accreditation. My transcripts, I made sure that I started the process, but my transcript gets into the NCA
Mhm.
so that by the time I get to Canada, all I have to do is just start preparing for the exams. And of course, with the right mentorship in the sense that I have a couple of friends who have already gone through the process, so they advised me that you don't need to get to Canada before you start
Mhm.
before you leave Nigeria,
Right.
and that made the process faster. So yes, I plan to study law
Mhm.
on getting to Canada.
And what type of law did you practice in Nigeria?
So in Nigeria, I worked with a firm that dealt mainly with litigation, and unlike Canada or unlike Ontario, where you find most of lawyers focusing on their practice, in Nigeria, you are allowed, well, not just allowed, you have the levity and flexibility to be able to practice in all areas of law. So I handled all real estate, corporate commercial law, um, marriage and divorce, contracts, what else? All aspects of law. So I dealt majorly with litigation regarding these aspects of law.
Mm.
I was always in court, usually always in court. Maybe out of 5 days, I was probably in court 3 to 4 days in a week. Yes, so that was the aspect of law I had the opportunity of practicing before leaving Nigeria.
Mhm. And would you say the practice in Nigeria compared to Canada is very different or similar? And if so, how?
Oh, definitely. The similarities are, well, we are all lawyers. We are referred to as
Not
bar.
yet, not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you're on the path.
Yeah, I'm
um,
getting there.
yeah, yes, you're getting there. We are all referred to as barristers and solicitors of our respective jurisdictions, but the differences are obvious. The first is the kind of legal system in both countries.
Mm,
So in Nigeria, we operate the presidential or the federal system of government, where you have a strong center and weaker sides. So instead of provinces in Nigeria, we have states. And that informs the kind of law that is being practiced there. The presidential system gives the president a large percentage of the power as expressed in the Constitution of Nigeria, of the
mm,
Federal Republic of Nigeria. And you also have a bicameral legislature where you have the Senate and the House of Representatives in Nigeria. So all that in itself goes to show the kind of legal system that operates in
mm,
Nigeria, or unlike Canada, where you have the parliamentary system of government. And when you look at what the basic differences between these two forms of government, you can almost have an idea of what the legal systems portends at the end of the day. Yes, so it was quite a different. It's quite different, and preparing for my exams, it
mm,
also exposed me to that's the NCA exams. I got to see that I have to unlearn everything I thought I knew because it felt like I was starting from scratch,
mm.
and that was another root culture shock. Having to unlearn, relearn, and now
Yeah.
learn something different entirely. Yeah. So yes, it's a we the law systems are they are far apart.
Mm. So what kind of things did you learn in the NCA exams? Was it like a history lesson on Canadian
Yes.
jurisdictions and how like
Yes.
constitution and everything works?
Yes. So when I prepared for the exam, when I was reading for the NCA exams, I tried to enjoy it by learning about because I believe everyone is a student of history,
Mm,
and in being a student of history, you want to learn the history of the new jurisdiction you are coming into. So I try to see images while reading, in the sense that for every case or for every lesson I got to learn from, let's say, constitutional law, for instance, I try to compare with what operates in Nigeria and see whether there are similarities I could deduct from this part of the Constitution, of the Canadian Constitution, on and whether where this scenario operates, how will it operate if it is Nigeria. So
mm,
yes, in preparing for the NCA exams, it's allowed me to enjoy Canada as from a holistic perspective. When I say enjoy Canada, so I know this is my new home, this is my new country. I knew that I needed to see what the system of governance is,
mm,
and that helped me a lot in preparing for the exam. So I didn't just read that just to pass. Of course, the aim is to pass, because
mhm,
at least I can say that I covered the syllabus, even though there are better ways of reading if you just want to pass for the essay exam. But for me, I wanted to know what the
mhm.
Canadian legal system is like, and preparing for the NCA exams allowed me to see a wide aspect of what Canada is like.
Mm. And I can imagine that you having this general curiosity and a desire to be part of Canadian culture
Mm.
made it easier, a lot easier for you to study. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a huge hurdle in that sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
very right. Because I most of the things I got to learn while reading, you don't hear them in the news. You don't.
Mm,
They're not things that Tribeca can call every now and then. There are things you have to intentionally go and seek for, and that's in itself made me appreciate Canada better made me respect should I call them the founding fathers, or made me respect the journey Canada has gone through, the hurdles, the sad realities, and also the good things about Canada. Yes, NCA exams allowed me to experience that.
And from your experience thus far, like what would you recommend, or do you have any advice for students in similar experiences going through the same thing in terms of studying for the NCA or trying to transition into the Canadian legal market?
One thing I always tell, okay, there's one analogy I always use when I get asked questions that has to do with massiveness. What's the best way to eat an elephant? If I also ask you, what do you think? So if you have an elephant in front of you, what's the best approach for you to actually eat it? What do you think?
Well, this might get a little gory, but I would try to kill it first.
Well, yes. So it's been killed, it's been sauteed,
and then piece by piece, not the whole thing.
Piece by piece. That's it. So it's the same way with this process. So I landed in February 2019. May 2021, I'm already a lawyer, called to the Ontario Bar. So when I started the process, it looked far-fetched because I remember I have a friend so I actually saw her the day I came into Canada. She came to meet me at the airport. She was already preparing for the Ontario Bar exams then when we met. So she had gone through the NCA process and she was about to write the Ontario Bar exams. And if I'm going to use her as a form of pedestal to judge, oh, wow, this looks like it's unreachable. I might not take on the journey. It's indeed a journey. It's a journey that many of us look at the whole picture and we feel like, no, this is too much. I can't do this. And for various reasons, probably because it's an expensive journey. It's a time-consuming journey. It's a journey that if you're not careful, you might lose in all ramifications. Maybe you might, your family, I don't know if you're probably a family person, or your friends, but I think it's a journey that is worth it at the end of the day, because it allows you to what should I use the word, beat your chest? It allows you to, there's this sense of accomplishment that it gives you, knowing that you started this journey, and even though it looks like it looks almost unreachable, but at the end of the day, it is possible. So what I would just tell any NCA student that wants to take on this journey, like the elephants, one at a time, one piece at a time. Have the end goal at the back of your mind, but don't allow the stress, the other'sness to weigh you down. Take it on, and you'll be surprised at how time will be compressed just by taking it one step after the other, one step after the other. So that's what I would tell any NCA student.
That's good advice. And I guess this is a good segue into my next question, is like, what inspired you to do law ultimately, and what was your end goal, and what motivated you to continue going?
Okay, so true story. I was in the sciences. I was in science class. The equivalent of high school, we call it secondary school in Nigeria. Is the equivalent of high school, yeah. And I remember very well that throughout my what you call senior high, I struggled all through in the sciences. I think there was a time when, I'm not sure if the Canadian system is like that. So in your class, you are given positions based on how well you perform in your exams. So if you are 10 and the first person gets 90%, the second person gets 80%, and the third 75, like that. So I think out of the class of maybe over 70 of us, I was usually close to the last. So maybe let's say
And
we're
is this
70.
a public record? Like everybody can see,
Oh,
like, oh, where is
definitely.
Koyé on the
Oh yeah,
ranking? Oh,
definitely.
wow. Okay.
Oh, definitely. There are records that if I go back and see my result, like wow, this is not me. This is someone else. Yeah. So that for me. So I struggled all through. I mean, sciences, and I think it was more of a awakening for me that why am I fooling myself? Why am I? I mean, one, okay, I don't want to use the word I don't like school. I'm not a fan of school. So why would I want to go through school and struggle through and not enjoy what I'm learning or find it difficult to learn what I'm being faced with? And I had some inner conversations with myself. And fortunately for me, my dad's a lawyer. And even though that could have been seen as my first influence, I never saw myself reading law. It was never my drive. But after some inner conversation and seeing that I am a logical person, I love to have great conversation, not great arguments. I love to have great conversations. I love to have intellectual debate with people. I love to reason. I love to basically see how I can help someone get his or her life back in track. I just felt that law was the perfect thing for me to get into. And when I made that decision, it has been a smooth journey. Unlike if I was in the sciences, I'd probably still be in university now because I would have failed lots of courses. Yeah, so that is why I think I'm a lawyer.
Yeah. So back then, was your intention like doctor or something in that area?
Yes, I wanted
Okay.
to be a doctor. You know how it is. Well, wow,
Yeah.
you know the pride of having doctor before your name, Dr. Koyé Oladitan. So that's pride where your shoulders will be broad. You walk with an air of arrogance. Do you know who I am? I'm a doctor. Do you know who I am? I'm a doctor. And that was the only reason I wanted to be a
Yeah.
doctor. That was the only reason.
And how are lawyers ranked in the social hierarchy in
Oh,
Nigeria?
beautiful thing is that from what I learned, even in my parents' generation, if you want to go to university, they expect you to either be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer, because those were seen as the top three professions. Is either that or nothing else. So yeah, lawyers were ranked way up there. Like if you're a lawyer, you are seen as a gentleman, you're seen as a person of respect, you are seen as a societal figure who should be emulated and who understands and knows the law of the land. So being a lawyer was and is still a thing of prestige even in Nigeria. Yes. So lawyers are ranked
I think
highly.
that's even the case here. Like my parents are immigrants. They share similar sentiments in terms of what they'd like their children to be professionally.
Yes.
But even like just going to get a haircut and I'm chatting up the salon lady, she'll ask what I'm doing and I'll say I'm studying for to become a lawyer, and her opinion and her
It
how
just
she treats
changed.
me just fully changes.
Yes, yes. It's a noble profession. It's a
Yeah.
respectful profession anywhere in the world. Yeah, I agree with you.
hmm and I guess we can now move on to the next more, I'm gonna call it the more fun stuff. But
Okay.
so what do you like to do outside of law? And I guess you can talk more about your emceeing role that we've discussed about before.
So outside of love, if I'm not going out, I would like I love to just I'm a movie buff. I love movies. If you want to pin me down and let's say have an interesting conversation, I'm probably talking about movies because I always loved movies since as a kid. I remember then I used to, okay, this is being recorded, so I'll whisper it so that they don't hear. I remember then I used to steal my dad's money and go buy movies from the cassette, from the video store. Uh, that's how much I've always loved movies. Yeah, so I'm probably watching a movie or two, watching a series. There's always a series or two that I'm watching at the same time. A movie on my list that I want to watch. And definitely I always follow the Academy Awards to know, okay, what movie should I see? And like, so yeah. If I'm not watching movies, I'm probably playing chess. I'm also what you can call it chess. I'm not the grandmaster. I just like the intellectual part of chess. When I'm not at home, if I'm out, not mixing with friends, probably attending a birthday or a social event or two, I'm probably working as a master of ceremonies, an MC, weddings, birthdays, corporate events, and the likes, that is a part of me that I'm beginning to fall in love with more and more, because it gives me the freedom to be me, and also the fact that for the best feedback I can ever have. Okay, I was at a wedding. I was the MC at a wedding this past Monday, Thanksgiving Day, and I got a text from the bride today, and the text just brightened my face. And for me, that's the best feedback I can ever have. It was a text about the guests commenting on how they had a great time. For me, that gives me so much joy. I can't. I hope it comes one of the events I get to MC and
I
see
hope
it.
so too. Or maybe you
Yeah,
could invite me as a plus one or a photographer, and I'll,
yeah, yeah. Let's see how it goes. It's not.
yeah.
We'll probably work on something soon. I have one in November. I'll see how we can squeeze you in as
Yeah,
my
and I'd really
maybe
like
as
to see a Nigerian wedding. It looks a
yeah.
lot like a lot
That'll
of
be awesome.
fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so that's what I love to do when I'm not being a lawyer.
Hmm. It's nice to know that you have a life outside of law.
Oh yes, I do. Because if you don't, okay, this is not an absolute statement.
Mhm.
Um, I think one reason lawyers we might burn out fast when you look at the plethora of activities we are engaged in at work, the amount of deadlines we want to get to, the amount of briefs we want to read, the amount of documents you need to send out. So you are conversing with all this moving train at the same time. And if you don't intentionally give yourself time outside work to enjoy life,
Mm.
you might burn out faster than you anticipated. And fortunately for me, I've realized that the other things I get to do, watching movies, playing chess, being an MC, it gives me that pleasure and that leisure to not consume myself in the,
Mm.
because being a lawyer you have to be formal, to not consume myself in the formal aspect of my life, and
Mm.
see how I can still be relevant to law while giving joy to other people. So
Mhm.
that's it for me. You burn out, because
Mm.
the examples are numerous of lawyers dying of, that's in Nigeria. I don't know whether it obtains in Canada. Lawyers dying of stroke, lawyers
Mm.
collapsing in courts. So it can be overwhelming. But if you know how to pace yourself and
Mm.
know that there are different aspects of you, you would enjoy law while being someone else.
And do you think that a work-life balance is possible in the legal profession, or does that depend on the area of law that one practices in?
It's not impossible. I know for a fact that we are dealing with timelines, we are dealing with pressure, we are dealing with people, we are dealing with clients, we are dealing with institutions, we are dealing with governments, we are dealing with all these parts of our existence, or all these parts that make us lawyers.
Mm.
And in a bid not to be found one thing in part of this, you you want to do everything at the same time. But the work-life balance, striking the balance here I think, I mean, it's not impossible. What I think a lawyer should do is to, so I actually learned this from a friend. Don't sink yourself into law to the detriment of your mental health. Don't consume yourself. For instance, if you go to work, when you're at home, be at home. Okay, I know working from home might be difficult now. With working from home, it might be difficult. But when I close from work, I close my laptop. That is it. If an email comes, let's say 5:10, of course, there are times when I extend my closing time. If an email comes 5:10 and I see that I can respond to this email tomorrow, I will not respond to that email immediately. Those are some of the things I've learned over time. That in our ability to think that, oh, if I don't do this, this person will die. No, nobody will die. Unfortunately, if you die, they will get a replacement for you, whether you like it or not. Like, we sometimes we tend to have this superficial presumptions that, wow, without me, this thing cannot be done. No, it's a lie. If there's a saying that nature abhors vacuum. If you die today, someone else will take your place. And in a bid for you not to die, you have to know how to compartmentalize your life. Fortunately for us, I think one thing I've learned in Canada is that we try to take vacations. When you go on your vacation, go. When I say go, don't take your office with you. I mean, so, I report to the son I report to at work. So when he goes on vacation, usually says is reachable with this number. I think it's wrong. That's my personal opinion. When you're on vacation, you should not be reachable.
Yeah.
That is my.
It's like they want everyone to reach them at this number. Here, reach me. I'm not on vacation, really.
Don't reach me. There's no number. I'm not leaving any number for you to reach me on.
Yeah.
I'm gone. So, for instance, I took 2 days off this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. I did not open my laptop one bit.
Good for you.
I did not even bother to say, oh, let me check if I have any outstanding.
Were you tempted at all?
There was no temptation. No. So usually what happens is that, so weekend, Fridays, when I close from work, I close my laptop and I place it somewhere I can't easily see it. Because, so let's say I was working at the office, for instance, and my laptop doesn't come up with me, or if work doesn't come up with me, there's no avenue for me to actually reach it anyway. So some discipline I think we need to learn as lawyers, because in a bid not to burn out, we have to find avenues to know that when we're at work, give it your 100. When you're doing something else, give it your 100. What that does to you is that it allows you to actually enjoy your work. Because if in a bid to be productive and you are trying to overdo yourself, you will realize that you might not be as productive at the end of the day. I know the realities is different across different practice of law, especially for Bay Street firms, law firms, where a boss will tell you that you don't leave unless I leave. I mean, that's 21st century slavery, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I remember. So the law firm I worked in Nigeria, the first day I worked there, so my contract showed me you work from this time to this time. That was what my contract showed me. The first day, I remember the very first day, I will never forget, the very first day I worked there, when it was time for me to close, because first day now, there isn't really much for you to do. The first day, it's like an introduction. Oh, we don't want you to see that there's plenty of work here. So they try to be cool with you. I remember the very first day, when it was time to close, nobody was leaving. I'll never forget that day. And I was wondering why people were still sitting around. when it was time for me to leave, I packed my bag and I
Wow.
left. And people were looking at me like I committed a sin. You know, I still remember the look on their faces. And I was wondering, no, now my contract says this time now. So what's
In that position, if I were you, I would have been the one waiting for the other person, the first person to leave, so I can
exactly?
follow.
But I don't do that. For me,
Yeah.
it's what you call, I'm not sure the alternative to eye service. Is there any, you know, when someone say eye service, when you are pretending to be what you are not. So I think it's just pretense, you know, where you want to look to the boss that you're studious. I mean, this is a great addition to the team. He doesn't leave unless he has to leave. Of course, don't get me wrong. There are days when I stay longer hours when I want to. Probably, you know, when you're working in a law firm, you're dealing with time. So there are times when, in a bid not to file the document beyond its expected time, which would mean penalty to your clients, which would mean filing another application for extension of time and the like. There are times when I stay behind and make, okay, I want this document done so that by tomorrow I don't have to come back to it. So there are days like that. But when the work is done, pack your bag and go home. And you know the funny thing, after that incident, subsequent days later, all the other workers, they started leaving when it was time to leave. And I couldn't understand why you feel the need to want to impress your boss by pretending to be working when you should actually be on your way home. So, of course, it's the reality is different across different kinds of law firm and different kinds of law practice. But if there's something I know, is that irrespective of how difficult or how practical or impractical it might be, depending on who you are, if you cultivate the system of putting yourself in your work when you're at work, you'll be able to find the balance, and finding that balance would help you a long way towards being more productive. When you're at work, be at work. When you're at home, be at home. When you're on vacation, be on vacation. Don't be reachable. Nobody will die if you don't. I know I'm using an extreme word, but to show you how intense I feel it is, this conversation should be. Nobody will die if they don't reach you.
Do you think this more healthier attitude towards work in general comes with time and more experience in the profession? Because currently I can't relate to this. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just starting out. I want to make a good impression. I don't want to look like I'm slacking or I don't care. So I feel like I have to put in that extra time or have to show. But do you think that changes? Like I become more chill about it?
Well, it's not just about being chill about it. So I've had the opportunity of working in a law firm that deals with series of briefs, series of when you're working with series of briefs, you are looking at variants of timelines. As a lawyer, you might be handling close to 30 or 40 or 50 clients, depending on how small or how large the law firm is. But what I think happens is that when you start the process, your first few months as a lawyer, you want to understudy the work environment where you are. What's the work culture? What's the work ethic? I think within that time frame, you'll be able to make up your mind whether you would be here for a long time or you give yourself an expiry date. I'm going to expire on this date from this firm or from this company. Based on the work culture you get to understudy within your first few months. When you look at that and you see that this matches with your style or sense of work ethic, you'll be better positioned to know how to now structure yourself to fit with that culture, or restructure yourself to go and look for another culture to fit with.
Yeah.
So Of course, I know most Bay Street firms. I might be wrong, but if statistics does not prove me wrong, I'm sure you have them losing lawyers very often, if I'm not wrong, because at the end of the day, a lawyer starts work here. I mean, he wants to pay his law school fees, wants to pay all his student loan and the likes, and he works, okay, I want to give it my all so that I can be son of relevance. I want to get all the experience I can get. Well, if after a few months I'm getting ill all the time, after a few months I am not as productive as I used to be, it defeats the purpose. So striking the balance would mean knowing realistically how fit you are for this system. I know for interviews, okay, don't let me say most of us. For interviews, I know most people used to like when they are doing interviews that, oh, I work well under pressure is a lie. Most people, what they call pressure is not, they've not seen the real pressure. There's pressure that comes from a burning oven, and there's pressure that comes from losing your cat or collecting a ticket fine. There are different kinds of pressure. So when you see the kind of pressure that you feel you can work with, you will know. And if you feel that this pressure is not at par with your values or your culture, I mean, there are some people that are donkeys. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's your choice. But me, I made up my mind before I was born that even before I knew myself, I made up my mind that the kind of work I want is not the work that will allow me to, or that will require me to work 12 to 12. At the 12 noon to 12 noon. No, I'm not cut for that kind of life. So that's the choice I made. And ultimately, I think my choices have been working for me. I mean, get the work done, be productive where you are, give it your all, but know that there is a difference between work, home, vacation, socials, what else? Being an MC. So wherever I am, I give it my all without allowing others to fester into the others.
I really appreciate that perspective because it's not something you hear often in our profession.
No,
like going into it, and even on TV, like even just in entertainment and how they portray the legal profession, it's very like grind all day, like writing briefs at 12 a.m., no sleep, no time for anything else. And so it's nice to hear that there are.
Of course, at the initial years, you might need to burn the candle. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are not cut out for that lifestyle, you'll be able to know where you can adjust towards. I mean, I have a friend in Nigeria, very brilliant, very cerebral, very intellectual. She was getting good pay. She just resigned this year from her company, and she said she just wants to rest. She wants to rest for 1 year. She doesn't want to work anywhere because for her, she has burnt out. She's burnt out now. And I could tell, I mean, before we left Nigeria, we're in touch all the time. And I could tell that this work was telling on her. And because for her, I work a lot. So she was an in-house counsel. And I could see that frustration on her face, which even didn't allow her to have another life apart from work. And you just burn out. So we need to find avenues where we can breathe. That's the word. That's what I've been looking for. Where you can get to breathe even while working wherever you are. That's you just have to find it, or else you will not enjoy the work. You would even start blaming the work for your other failures. You know, when some people, when they divorce, they now start blaming the work for the divorce they're experiencing. No, you could have had both, best of both worlds. But I mean, it's possible. It might look difficult, but it's possible.
And it's my hope that in talking to people like you who have a life outside of law, that I ultimately get the courage to have these priorities going forward when I'm looking for job prospects in terms of whether there's a work-life balance, and that's something that I prioritize moving forward. So thank you for sharing. That was very helpful.
Thank you, Mithea. Thank you.
And this is to end off. I guess we can have a little speed round. And
Okay.
these are like rapid fire questions that you haven't really prepared for. So
Okay.
I hope you're ready.
I hope I'm ready.
Okay. So first question is, what's the last song that you listened to?
Ooh, what's the last song I listened to? Okay, it's not a song. It's a so there's this band.
Mhm.
They're on YouTube. Alternate sound. So they do a collage of different songs of different artists' songs. So I can't remember. There's no particular one I can say. I still listen to it today, so I can't say.
Do they play their own instruments or do they just
Oh, on
mash it
instrument,
up? Oh
on
wow, okay.
instrument. So it's a live band, which makes it awesome. They're very
Yeah.
good. Alternate sound. You can check them out. They're on YouTube.
Okay, cool. I will do that. And coffee or tea?
None of the above.
How are you alive? How are you functioning?
I know I get that question a lot. None of the above. I've never been a fan
That
of
is very impressive.
that.
So I guess just good sleep then.
Yeah, I just go to sleep. I mean, once I'm feeling sleep, I just go to sleep. Coffee or tea has never been what's the word? It has never helped me, or I've never even not that I've never tried. Last time I took coffee or tea was probably years or decades ago. I can't remember. I've never been a fan.
That's very inspiring. Good for you. How do you start your day?
So I take a walk for about 8 kilometers before I do anything. Once I just get up from bed, even before I brush my mouth or do anything, I take
Mhm.
a walk.
Eight
So
kilometers. Wow.
yes, every day.
So so how long does that usually take you?
1 hour 20 minutes on an average.
Even in our winters?
Yeah, even in the winter. I started January. Yeah, I started January this year, and I've not missed a day. Yeah, I started January, so I've not missed it. Even in the winter. So of course I have my winter jacket and all. So when I'm taking the walk, I'm
That's how you know you're a Canadian now. You're
exactly.
going for walks in the winter.
Yeah. So I make sure that's the first thing I always do every day. It allows me to start the day on a fresh note
Mhm.
without being groggy or the like.
Mhm. What was your first job?
Oh, first job. Yes. So my mom has a store in Nigeria, and so during my vacations, because I went to a boarding school. So when I come home for vacation, I think I used to help her in the store a couple of times. So that's the first job I think I ever had.
Okay, and what movie are you currently? What movie have you watched currently, or what do you plan on watching next?
Okay, so I'm currently watching probably for the seventh or eighth or ninth or 10th time, Zero Dark 30.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
You should see it. It's a story that shows the CI. It shows the trail towards the killing of Osama bin Laden.
Mm.
It's an awesome movie. It's Zero Doctor. It's on Netflix and it's leaving Netflix October 30th. Yes, I think so. That's why I actually wanted to watch it again. I've seen it. So once I like a movie, I can watch it for 10 times, 15 times, maybe once in 2 years, 3 years. For instance, some of my favorite movies, Godfather, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street,
Mm.
Shawshank Redemption. So there are some classics that I find myself rewatching over time. So the one I'm seeing now is Zero Dark 30.
And this is kind of like, I feel like everyone's watched this. I'm going to ask you just to close it off. Have you watched Squid Game?
Yes, but I think the hype was more than the movie. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen
You've
it.
seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. But
Thoughts? Were you? I remember
yeah,
you saying you like dark.
yes, I like that. So I think for Squid Game, one reason I think Squid Game works, if you notice around the world, you hardly find a fresh movie again. When I say fresh movie, you can see a movie with different sets of actors, different timeline, but the stories look familiar with something you've seen before.
Mm.
so it doesn't give it that freshness. Why I think Squid Game has a lot of hype is because it's a fresh movie. It's a fresh in the sense that it's a simple plot, but it is relatable. That's so yeah. Yes, I've seen Squid Game. It's not a bad one. Will I see it again? I don't think so. One reason I always one way I always judge a good movie is its rewatchability. Is there any word like that? It's how rewatchable it is. Can I see this movie again? If my answer is no, then it's not on my top tier of movies.
Okay. And I need to get your opinion on this after, but one of my favorite movies, I don't even remember the name of it, which is pretty bad, but it's with Ben Affleck. He's a bank robber.
Oh yeah, good movie, The Town.
Yes. Yeah. That's my favorite.
Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, this guy in Mad Men, forgotten the name. That's the cop. Was the cop in the movie? He was a madman. A man was I can see his name. Oh yeah, good movie, great movie. Jeremy Renner got an Oscar nomination as best supporting actor for his role. You know Jeremy Renner, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, good movie, The Town. Yeah, nice movie.
You really know your stuff, your movies.
Yeah, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, well, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And you get the special, what's the word, recognition for being my first guest. So thank you.
I feel honored. I feel honored.
And if anybody wants to have you as an MC, where can they reach you? I guess I'll leave your Instagram.
Instagram at Koyé Official.
Nice.
Koyé Official. One word. Koyé Official on Instagram.
And I'll leave it in the link in the description below. And yeah, hopefully I get to attend and witness this awesomeness in person. And your jokes.
I'll bring you along. I'll okay. Make sure I'll squeeze you in, maybe as my PA or my or my personal photographer or one of the. I have a couple coming up soon, so definitely I'll make sure I get to bring you along for one of them.
Okay, let's do it. I'm gonna stop it there. Okay.